Hi and welcome to the channel. Now today I'm going to teach you a shot that's going to improve your consistency around the greens. It's a basic that you need to learn, and everybody must learn this first of all, so you don't miss this video. It's called the chip putt. It's going to be a basic way of helping you to be more consistent, as I say, and start getting the ball closer to the hole. So come on, let's go do it. So I'm going to teach you what we call the chip putt, and this is first of all, welcome to my brand new teaching venue. Okay, this is a brilliant place. I'm now attached to the Manchester Golf Academy at the Manchester Golf Club, obviously in the UK. I'm going to be offering coaching to all sorts of people, from business to corporate, to individuals and all sorts. Okay, so if you have any inquiries about coaching, drop me a message below or comment below and I'll send you all the details. Obviously, one of the things I'm proud of the most is I'm one of the only Malaska certified golf coaches in Europe. So if you want to fancy taking up, and learning how the Malaska method works, I'm your guy. All right. Anyway, so I want to teach you something that, and I've always wanted to do this for a long time on the channel, and this is an opportunity that's given me here. It's something we call the chip putt, and it's really a versatile way of playing it, but you play it with the same stroke. So it's one of these shots that we used to teach many years ago, and it's when you're playing just off the edge of the fringe of the grass, but it's just not low enough or far enough away, or it's just too far away to use the putter itself. And ideally what we used to do in the old days was we used to try and keep the ball as low to the ground as we possibly can. I know modern day theories now is to try and throw it as high as you can, but sometimes that makes people very inconsistent, because when you're trying to throw your lob wedge and hit the ball and you're making a longer swing, there's a lot more variables that can happen, a lot more mistakes can happen. So with this shot, we used to play it with 3 different clubs. I'm going to stick to that, but you can use any club you like, from fairway wood all the way up to your lob wedge, okay? But I'm going to keep it simple because it's easier to remember. So with this one here, I've got a 7-iron, a 9-iron, and my sand or 54-degree sand iron, okay, which is what we used to call a sand iron. And this is going to give me 3 different results from 3 different shots, okay, or from the same shot, sorry. So I'm going to get 3 different results. So first of all, my 7-iron is going to make the ball fly lower. It's going to make it roll a lot more towards the hole. The second one, the 9-iron, is going to be around 50-50. And then the sand iron is going to be more 75-25 75 in the air and 25% on the ground. Okay. Now to play this shot, we're going to be playing it almost as though we're holding a putter. So the first thing you've got to do is hold it how you would hold a putter. Now, obviously, you can actually do it claws and so on and so forth, but ideally what you're going to do here is you're going to play it as how you would hold your putter. Now I hold my putter this way. I have what we call a classic reverse overlap grip, so my left hand finger points over the outside of my right hand fingers like so. This, and it's also going into my palm of my hand as opposed to in the fingers. Okay, when I address the ball, I'll stand a bit more here, I hope that's right. Now there's certain things you've got to look for when you play this shot. So obviously, bearing in mind the 7-iron is only going to fly 25% in the air and roll for 75%. I've got things that I've got to look out for. Now I am on a bit of a bank here, so this really wouldn't be the club for me. I probably would use my 9-iron, but I've got to work out, 25% is around about here, which is actually on the bank, and then 75% is rolling out. This isn't a proper putting green, so it's not as fast a rolling as the rest of the course. Okay, so with this though, what we're going to do is we're going to hold down the handle on the club. Okay, down the shaft. I've got quite a bit shown at the top here. I'm holding it like my putter. I'm going to take my posture like my putter as well. I'm putting a little bit of weight into my left leg, and the ball position is right in the middle of my feet. I'll do a screenshot from face on. So this is just a face on view from the stroke. So I'm going to take my hands down. The hands go down the handle. My feet are a little closer together. I'm taking golf putting posture though. Everything all lines up exactly the same way. The ball's probably a little bit back in my stance, and all I'm going to do here is make a chipping stroke like my putting stroke, and that's just going to give me far more consistency around the greens, and then you can start to build all the fancy shots from there. And all I'm going to do from here is literally just hit my putting stroke. I'm going to pick my landing spot, which is 25% on, might be a bit more with this one because of the slowness of the greens. But I'm just going to make a putting stroke, which is mostly with the shoulders and the hands working together. This is going to stabilize the club face and keep it squarer for longer. So I'm just going to make back and just through, and that's just going to roll out to the hole. Okay, now that's with the 7-iron. I can do exactly the same thing though with my 9-iron. So I can play exactly the same shot. So I'm going to stand here, take the same grip, still going down the handle. So I'm shortening it as if it was a putter. Same stance, okay, same grip, same everything else, same ball position. My landing zone though will probably be more 50-50. So I'm just going to make a stroke, back, and forth. Okay, that stopped a little bit quick on me, but you can get the idea. It's going to fly a lot more in the air and generally would roll out more on like a proper green. So we'll just try that again, because I don't like to lose. Back and through. Okay, see how that rolls out quite nicely to the hole. Now, then I can do this with a sand iron. So I've got a sand iron here, and what I'm going to do here, exactly the same shot. I'm going to have to make a longer stroke with this one though, which was when the variables start to come in, but the same grip, same stance, weight on the left side. And I'm just going to make a stroke back and through, and that's going to fly a lot more in the air and roll a lot less. So these are the three ways in which you can play what we call the chip putt. It's the same way and same method as you're holding a putter. You can even stand to it exactly the same way, and you make the same stroke. What we're not after here is wrist hingings and so on. We're keeping the stroke quite wide, and that's really a great way to learn and be a lot more consistent. You can then read it like a putt. Okay, so this has a little bit of left to right on it, so I can aim a little bit left and it'll roll down. What you're going to find is you're going to get more proximity to the hole, or close a lot more to the hole, than trying to play the lob wedge and trying to make the fancy shots. Yes, there's a time and a place when you've got to try and play the fancy shots, the club face opens and so on and so forth, but there's a lot more variables involved in that, and it can cause you to get into a bit of trouble. So when you next practice, get a few balls and just learn to play what we call the chip putt. Remember, 7-iron is going to fly for 25% in the air and roll for 75, 9-iron is going to be 50-50, and then the sand iron is going to be 75% in the air and roll for 25. Chip putt. Okay, I hope that really helps you out. If you have any questions about it, let me know. But thank you for watching. I hope you appreciate it. I really appreciate you watching, and really appreciate you giving me the thumbs up and also subscribing as well. With my account's really growing quite quickly. But in saying that though, please remember to like, subscribe and share with your friends. But again, if you have any questions, as I said earlier on, drop it in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to answer it. Anyway, have a great weekend and I'll catch you next week.